Akala ko last week pa lang.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode of Glorious Reacts. This is our series retrospective discussion for the recently concluded season 1 of Loki, currently streaming on Disney Plus. I am once again with the guys as we dive into, well, the Sacred Time and hijinks. Well, we look back into, I guess.
We look back.
But before we begin, I would like to introduce ourselves. I'm Arnold, your friend from Down Under. I am joined by the thriller from Manila, Joel. Say hi, Joel.
Hi. Wow. Ka-chow.
Ciao. And the Singapore Sling, our very own Singapore Sling, very signature version, Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Hello. Hi.
Before we continue, I would like to inform you, dear audience, that this is not a spoiler-free show and that we will be talking directly about events that occurred in the entirety of Loki Season 1. Most of which, well, all of it will, be revealing key story elements. If you have not watched the series yet, why are you watching this episode? Please save yourself the spoilers. Stop this video, go watch, binge 6 hours as I mentioned, and come back and join us in our conversation. Now,
This is not TLDR.
Let's begin. Alright, post-mortem. My gosh. So in our previous episode, we dropped off without any expectations, that being the end of the season 1. Partly because I wanted us to talk about our expectations in this post-mortem discussion. But before we go there, we'll avoid the recap because it's kind of long. Go straight to what
I thought you prepared a recap of the entire show.
Isn't it your turn
I did.
to recap the whole
And
season?
then I realized after seeing the recap for the previous episode that it's far too long. So next time. So let's go for our likes, dislikes, and expectations of the entire series. Starting off with, I guess, Joel this time. Oh, by the way,
By the way,
I'll have a special something towards the end of the episode. Hang out for that one as well.
Is it a giveaway? Are we doing giveaways
Are we
now?
doing
come on,
giveaways
what are
now?
What are we?
Oh, okay.
We're just doing this
Cool.
from our mother's garages. So,
This is
So what do they need to do to join the giveaway?
there's
They need to
there's
first
no giveaway.
like the
So
video,
this is the reason why
hit the subscribe button.
we end up with extra long episodes.
Okay.
Joel, lead us in
okay.
to our list.
All right, there you go. So my first very big like for this for the entire Loki series, and
Season 1
is season 1 for season 1. Sorry, because there is a season 2. Despite what Paul's
disdain
yeah.
for season 2.
Yes. So my major like, not Jonathan Majors, but actually Sofia Di Martino.
Yep.
Yeah, Sofia Di Martino. I think that I've never heard of her before. I think that she's already a well-known actress. But I loved her portrayal of Sylvie. I think that she's a terrific actress. The way that she approached the character and how she bounces off of Hiddleston. They have tremendous chemistry. And just the way that she was able to bring life to the character of Sylvie, that was really a big plus for me. And then the second one, I actually I like
before we leave
Go.
the Sofia Di Martino, I think across the board all three of us really liked her performance. It's a bit sad. I just wanted to add this here. It's a bit sad that Loki did not finish in time for the Emmys because both WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Snowman actually got Emmy nominations, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I would have expected no less. nominations for Loki as well.
This would have, I'm sure that this would have gotten
I would have. I'd like to
across the board.
extend. I'd like to extend that apart from Sofia DiMartino, um, Owen Wilson. He was the bomb.
Wow.
Tara Strong as Miss Minutes. She was the bomb. What you call Richard E. Grant. You know
That one episode, wow.
Exactly that they one episode just stole the show, staring, shouting, staring down Alliant. Gleefully
in his yellow undies.
in his yellow undies, gleefully, screaming out that his glorious purpose has now been achieved. The bomb, and then obviously Jonathan Majors, my man, my boy.
Jonathan Majors is a nuclear bomb.
He is going to be insane. Go ahead, Joel. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a recurring thing with me.
That's all right. That's all right. That'll be his show tick. Every now and then he just
Yeah.
goes ka-chow.
Good chow, wow. So yeah, I mean I liked WandaVision. I need to go back to that. I like the WandaVision because of the one of the central themes that it talked about, and the timeliness of that theme, grief, the fact isolation, and all of that. And here, the Loki series, because the major themes of, although there was also something about acceptance of your quote unquote destiny, of your role in Falcon and the Snowman. Yeah, I'm gonna keep on. It's actually just a side note. It's an actual movie. There is an actual Falcon and the Snowman movie. Look it up. It's an old movie.
Pretty certain
So
he's
yes,
not involved.
yeah.
MCU
For this one, it also sort of follows the spirit of WandaVision of putting forward a theme that is very relevant in today's society about self-discovery. And acceptance of who you are, of all your good things and your bad things, and I think that, and especially the way that they portrayed it in Loki, it was a very very good discussion on that topic and that theme, because you have all of these different Lokis trying to accept who they are, and some do, some can't quite do it, some change. And I really love that. The music, oh my god, the music from that first note from the theremin, I immediately loved it gave me that sci-fi vibe.
Yep.
It changed as the show progressed, but it still kept that sort of sci-fi vibe,
That weird
because
science.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that weird science feel. That was really good. That was
Um,
really, and all throughout the show, the series, the music that they chose
Yeah.
really fit the episode or the feel, and you saw that they really thought of it. They really wanted to set the mood. They wanted to set the expectations of the viewers for at each episode, which I didn't quite feel in either WandaVision or Falcon and the Snowman.
and the snow.
So it's gonna. This was the first time that I felt that, that it was evident for me that they really, okay, I'm setting your expectations. I'm going to cue you with these things.
Yep.
This is how you approach this episode. This is how
Exactly.
you approach this show.
To be fair to WandaVision, I already got not the same way, but I think in WandaVision, the story element, the show element that kind of created the same feel would be the opening sequences. Since they were following comedies from different times, they were using the type of opening credits as the shows that were popular during the period, and that was how it was sort of. It was difficult. It was. I'm not surprised if a lot of people have trouble using that story element as a aid to preparing themselves for the episode, because this is such a very different way of storytelling. But hearing what you're saying, I got the same vibe from that from WandaVision.
From WandaVision.
Exactly. going from of the music, I just wanted to remind everybody. In season 2, we had "Holding Out for a Hero" by Bonnie Tyler. Perfect.
Episode 2.
Yeah, sorry,
Episode
episode 2. Perfect timing for when the Loki variant, we still did not know it was Sylvie, was being established as the hero, quote unquote, that we've been holding out for. The hero who's gonna free us from the TVA. Episode 3, we had Demons by Hayley Kiyoko. After that, during that bar sequence, there was 2 songs actually. Bar sequence with sorry,
C20.
with C20. So Demons in my head because of Sylvie's enchantments. And in the end, we had Dark Moon by Bonnie Guitar, a nice 1950s song about a moon that was gonna crash into the other way around. A planet was about to crash into a moon. Episode 4, in the ending we had the "If You Love Me, Really Love Me." Such a nice serenade of letting go, of allowing one person to do what they need to do for love.
And the song, the Asgardian song.
And the Asgardian song from what do you call that? We discovered what it meant, right?
Yeah, we discovered.
Loki
Yeah,
was
somebody actually
singing.
put it out. I
Exactly.
don't quite remember what it actually is.
And then finally, in episode 5, the weirdest probably of the lot, we had this strange rendition of Wonderwall, when the Lokis were reminiscing in the underground palace of Kid Loki. So the songs definitely, the background music was a critical part of the storytelling, and I too really enjoyed that one.
And I'm just gonna
going.
round out my like.
It's bouncing off.
We got, although it was also only for 1 episode, but I'm sure that a lot of those who watched the show noticed it. We got a Grogu, we got a Baby Yoda for the show.
Yep.
I've already seen mock-ups of Funko Pops.
Have you pre-ordered?
It's not yet out. It's not yet out. It's not yet out for order.
For pre-order.
But yeah, the Gator Loki or Loki Gator.
Yeah.
He is the Grogu for this.
He's the mascot.
I think, yeah, he's the mascot. I think that they were going for those little wobbly purple bird things.
They
with,
roasted one, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
They
those
roasted
weird,
one.
I think that was
circular
they were
bird
also going for that, but that one ended up feeling like those birds in one of those Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah, episode 9.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bird, right? It was like a furry critter, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's some sort of like cross between an owl and a
Yeah.
chipmunk.
Yeah. That one. Yes, but that we got a Grogu, and I'm sure that soon enough, I hope that he comes back for season 2. Yes, Paul, season 2, along with Kid Loki, because we haven't gotten their glorious purpose yet.
No, not yet.
We haven't gotten
I'm
their
certain
glorious- unless,
Loki
and I've
is
seen
ass.
this, unless the glorious purpose of Gator Loki was
To bite off
biting off the
President
hand
Loki's
of President
hand.
Loki, so that he becomes Captain Hook in Neverland.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Different creature, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Paul, rattle off some of yours.
My likes. So, I'm just gonna be agreeing with everyone. I think for the likes, because we both wrote this down. So, amazing cast. I mean, overall, everyone who was hired to do a job in this production was amazing. So, but I'd have to give it to. I actually up till the 5th episode, I was gonna say, ooh, the person that if I was gonna nominate an MVP for the whole season, it would have been Richard E. Grant. But after Jonathan Majors, he just took everything
Took the season.
away. Yeah, he just, for me, he was the best part of the whole season.
Right.
And it's because of the way he performed. He Who Remains. I was wanna. Can I just go ahead and call him Kang?
Well, it wasn't named that. but-
Nathaniel
Okay.
Richards.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Nate.
and it's how he performed as Nathaniel Richards, and I really liked his performance, and I really feel moving forward he was a really good choice because of I think he has a lot of range. Just by this one performance, I could really see that he has a lot of potential with, and because of he's going to perform different versions of a same character. And it's basically it. I'm thinking about Doctor Who because the Doctor regenerates. So even if it's a different actor, there are ties between this actor's Doctor and the one who was there before him, and I feel like he can do the job even if it was one actor.
Wow. Yeah.
So I really like him as an actor. So and this is the first time I've seen him. So I'm really going back and I'm going to be watching the other projects he's done. I feel like this series is a very good season for non-comic book fans. Sorry, it's a good series to watch. A good intro for non-comic book fans to find out how the multiverse works. Because if you're a comic book fan, you already know how it works. If you're not,
Sort of.
if you didn't know, if you didn't watch this episode, you'd probably be, I guess, confused in some way. But this explains it really clearly to everyone, I think. And I think I guess that's one of the things that's why Kevin Feige always said that Loki would be one of the critical points to start phase 4, right? So, and I think we got it. Whatever that objective, we have to check the tick box check. So we got that from this series, and because of that, because it did a great job of explaining multiverses and how different people in one universe, the same person could exist but in a different way. I think that it's opened up the MCU so they no longer have to retire Robert Downey. So they can just
They
keep
can have a
feeding
variant
him.
of him.
Yeah, they can just keep feeding him the water from the fountain of youth, and then he can just keep playing Iron Man forever.
Nice. Nice.
I think that was the whole purpose. I think the series was created so that they can keep Robert Downey as Iron Man forever. That's the whole point.
Contracts be damned.
but I think because of this, we and I hope that in a way, and this is going a little bit onto the dislike, but just to, I hope that it doesn't take away the fact that if there's someone who dies in the MCU, I hope that it doesn't take away from that person's death. If you understand what I mean, because sometimes if you have a device that can allow you to just get the character back from death, it just makes the death of that character, there's no purpose.
Less meaning.
Less meaningful. Yeah.
It's not
So I hope
it's the same
not
impact as
going
when
to be used.
Mobius got he showed
Ruined.
because he
Got
ruined,
ruined.
and you're like and then he shows up.
And then
it's
in the
like,
next episode,
Yeah.
I mean, we're
So
happy.
so I hope it's not a device that they would use. The multiverse is not a device that they would use for that. I think that they're not going to do that. I think they're going to use it as a device just to have more stories out there. Just to have because they have so many stories. The comic books division of Marvel has so many stories they can get they can turn into movies, and I think they needed this for those because some of those are really like out of this world.
Exactly, and
So-
the existence of What If is proof of that. The What If TV series coming up next month. Not only that, this is the best way for them to explain away the reason why we have not seen X-Men in the MCU up until Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase whatever that it actually shows up. All of the Marvel licensed properties that are coming back to Marvel have now an entry point. And it not only an entry point that makes quote unquote sense.
Yeah.
Right? So this is perfect. This is perfect. We've been talking about how they'll be introducing mutants into the storyline. Now we already had a possibility with WandaVision's Chaos Magic. Here's another one, essentially, right? So and the reality that we can always have a version of some dude that we've killed off long time ago back because of the multiverse. Yeah, that can always happen. That's always a MacGuffin when it comes to multiverses. But you're right. I think the writers are very competent. The writers in the MCU are very competent, and that they won't fall back and use that as a crutch for that one.
Yeah, hopefully.
And
So that's
and I guess I'll just rattle off of. Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
no. I'm done.
That was
You go.
it. I think the
Yeah.
last thing that I wanted to highlight were all of the amazing Easter eggs. We had fun looking for that,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
in
yeah,
episode
yeah.
4. Sorry, episode 5. That was amazing. It was so much
Throg.
fun.
I love Throg.
Showing up, a Throg showing up is just, how else can they come up with a way to introduce?
Now I'm
Throg?
waiting for them to come up with a Throg series
I know.
featuring Throg and Gator Loki.
Gator Loki
It's probably-
facing off.
If they would, they would probably do it animated first. I feel like they'd do it an animated version.
Same as Spider-Ham.
Yeah, would be faster for them also.
Yeah, true. I do know that I saw what do you call this? I saw somewhere that Throg was actually supposed to figure more prominently in the series.
Oh,
Okay. Yes, there
Variant
was supposedly there was going to be
variant
a sequence where Throg,
Gets
diminutive as he was pounding Loki to a pulp with a small Mjolnir,
Yes,
and then
because he
with
has
a regular sized,
he has a tiny Mjolnir.
Yeah.
If not,
and with a regular sized Loki, but still Throg was, yeah.
it's one of those things that we'll have to sit in the cutting room floor. Maybe we'll get a special edition DVD just to see
Seeing all of that, yeah.
see those making. The other things that I really liked about the series is Randy. I remember him, Randy from episode 3. Oh no, episode 3. Yes. So remember how we called Sylvie Randy for a very long time. No,
Yeah.
actually no, just one episode. One episode length.
Just one episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I actually.
And then everyone started calling Sylvie Randy
That's true.
because she hadn't said her name yet.
She hasn't said her name yet. I actually enjoyed Randy. I enjoyed. Joel already touched on this. The themes of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and change, and potential for change. We've seen that across. From Loki accepting who he is and the potential, and seeing the potential for him to be more than his glorious purpose, or maybe even you can say that his glorious purpose has changed, right?
Wow.
A change also
That's
in
very,
Mobius, right? Mobius being switched from being flipped from somebody who's
The company man.
the company man who just focused on the
the
job
renegade.
into somebody who, the crack showed, and Loki. A few more things. Loki gaining friends.
Yeah,
Loki gaining friends. Loki gaining meaningful relationships, even if that relationship kicks him through a time door across a different dimension. What can you do? And finally, the quotable quotes. There were so many quotable quotes. Remember "Love is a dagger"? That was amazing.
What is a dagger?
that's the best
Love is a dagger.
metaphor.
And I think the second MVP in terms of quotable quotes is classic Loki screaming glorious purpose as he dies. As he gets eaten
In his yellow
in
undies.
his yellow undies, as he gets eaten by the giant angry cloud. Dislikes? I've got nothing, actually. So
You have nothing.
no. I
Wow.
have nothing to
Oh, that's
dislike.
Wow.
much.
Good
That's
too
job.
I nitpicked Renslayer, but really, she served
I
the
actually,
purpose.
I got more interested in Renslayer actually, especially after the last episode, because I now want to know where she's going.
Yeah, I want to know where she's going
Yeah.
to search
We'll hold
for
off that
free will.
to expectations.
Yeah.
Let's go for
Yeah.
dislikes. If there's anything.
Oh yeah, I have a dislike.
Mhm.
Yeah, we didn't see Mephisto.
Ah,
Imagine, that's a joke. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is a
Ka-chow.
sort of a chiao. It's a sort of a nitpick, but yeah, we never really got an explanation why Lokis were being targeted
Yep.
specifically. Although we do see other things go through and get ruined,
Yeah.
it seemed as if the void had a large population of Lokis. You can explain it away as them just surviving. That's
Yeah,
why they're
yeah.
the ones that are left.
Are left.
But yeah, still, I mean, I I can't think. Is it really that much of a problem to survive Alaya that a variant Captain America can't show up, or a variant Iron Man can't
Yeah,
show up?
I don't know. It's probably because when Elias because I think Kid Loki already created a machine or something that detects where variants gonna
Yeah,
go
it
through the time
explains
door.
why they survive.
Yeah,
But why don't we see any other forms of any of the except for Throg?
yeah.
We don't see any other Marvel characters. Just
May-
the Lokis and Throg. Even the Thanos who used the Thanos copter didn't survive.
Yeah, that's true. There ought to be a
Right?
pilot there.
maybe there are other people there, but we just don't see them. Maybe the world is so big. I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
true.
But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but really, we didn't get that explanation. It would have been a nice tidbit to see that he who remains targeted Loki's because he knew that they were the ones who could do something about it, who
Okay.
could do something about, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's me with my need for things to be tied neatly with a
Nice
bow.
little
With the
bow.
bow.
Yeah.
Paul, oh, you've
I
already
think
pointed this out
yeah,
in the previous episode.
the episode earlier, yeah, from episode for our reactions with episode 6. I think I don't need to see a second season right away.
You're wrong.
Because we weren't.
I think I wrote down fatigue, and I think it's fatigue from from Loki.
Gosh,
Like I thought I
six
really
episodes cost
I thought
fatigue.
I really wanted to okay, no, let me rephrase. When the series was announced, I was like, oh yeah, of course, definitely, I want to see more of Loki. After this season, I think that's changed to I want to see more of Kang,
Yeah.
of Nathaniel Richards. Therefore, in order for that to proceed, of course, Marvel they have a lot of resources, but they can't really. I mean, they do have a lot of resources, but they still need to choose which storylines make it right. So, for me, this series has done its job. For now, they can let it rest for a bit and have people clamor for Loki
Yes.
again before they do another season run.
For sure.
Them announcing a second season doesn't have to be right away. It doesn't mean that it has to be right away. They can just let the series breathe for exist as this for a while, and then later on they can drop another season. And because it's partly also because they opened up the universe to the concept of the multiverse to everyone. So it's bigger. They have to be able to come out with different stories. And yes, that's answered in What If, but that's animated. I don't think a lot of people, sorry, not a lot, but maybe the hardcore fans will watch What If,
Yep.
but not a lot. I mean, my parents wouldn't watch What If, but they
Did they
watched
watch
Black
WandaVision?
Widow. They watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? But they wouldn't watch What If because it's cartoons. So just
It's animated. It's not cartoon.
sorry, it's anime. But if I was to quote them, they would say, "But that's cartoons." But yes, it's animated.
That's
So
fair.
so for me, it's partly fatigue, partly because they opened up the universe to a lot more possibilities, and I want to see more of those possibilities.
Mhm.
And because they have their own platform, they can do it.
Yep.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be big, but since they have their own platform, they can just put stories upon stories upon stories on the platform, and I'd be happy because
The-
it's just different stories.
I think the caveat for that one is obviously Feige's stickler for making everything fit in together. So while we want every story to show up in MCU, whether in the TV series or in the MCU, I think Feige will probably have an aneurysm if he tries to make everything work out, because he still has to make Mephisto work out. Now, going to expectations. We held off expectations in our previous episode because I was hoping we would talk about it here with the series concluding. And Paul did mention that we have now been introduced to this awesome storytelling element that is the multiverse. And looking back at one TV show, particularly WandaVision, and a few movies another TV show in the future, What If, and two movies in the future. Well, we already see that the foundation that Loki established is already being used for movies that are showing up in the near future. So I wanted to point out, expectations for movies like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home. Two movies that we know for a fact that will be tackling the multiverse in one shape or some shape or form. In more so in the Multiverse of Madness, uncertain because of all the rumors in No Way Home. Actually, in No Way Home, our only basis is the fact that they're supposedly bringing in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
And characters like Jamie Foxx,
Alf Molina,
and
Alfred
Molina back into the fray. But without saying what they'll be doing with those characters, are we seeing the Sony versions of them, or will we be seeing MCU versions of them? But at the very least, we can say that, hey, they're there because they're variants or something like that, right? We have now this language that makes things a little bit easier to explain away. That said, WandaVision, I actually thought she would start the multiverse. She would cause it to, fall into chaos or whatever because of, how she's been thinking around with the Darkhold, trying to look for her kids that don't exist. So, I mean,
they do exist.
well, they existed once in this pocket reality, and now she wants them to be real the entire time, right? So, I wrote them down without really thinking of what particular expectations I am going to see. Any thoughts on how Multiverse of Madness, for example, will take advantage of what Loki has laid out?
Let me take a stab at this. As we saw in episode 6, that all of those branches outside in space, that was already madness. So,
Yes.
right? I mean, it was as if we were. When I saw how they visualized the different timelines branching out from the sacred timeline, it looked as if it was like the neural pathways of the brain. It looked like it.
Yeah.
So it already was madness.
That's true.
So yeah, I think that the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is going to really show us. We might see multiple Doctor Stranges. And it really gives us that leeway to work on that, to be able to do that. There might be a council of Stephen Stranges.
I hope not.
Because since Wanda is a Nexus being, she can create these Nexus events on her own by using magic. She doesn't actually have to pick up a Tesseract by mistake,
Or hold someone else's hand.
or hold her own hand.
Yeah.
Right. So she doesn't need to do that. So I expect that we'll have we will have particular Nexus events occurring that are probably more destructive than, let's say, other innocent timelines that are branching off. So maybe that's a possibility. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it also puts into question again the idea of whether or not Wanda is the main villain of Multiverse of Madness, because
Okay.
that was one of the things that was proposed, that she might be the bad,
Yep.
the big bad of Multiverse of Madness
It's
because of what
probably
happened in WandaVision.
it's probably gonna start off with her already in a state of madness of sorts because of something she did, and Doctor Strange trying to bring her back from the brink.
No, that's already been established.
Oh, okay.
There was a deleted sequence that was shared after WandaVision was finished, wherein Doctor Strange was supposed to feature in one of the commercials.
The last commercial.
The last commercial when she visited a pharmacist to get Nexus as like a pill for depression.
Right.
Because the theme for that episode is she's falling into depression, into madness, and that Stephen Strange is actually trying to communicate to her from outside the reality bubble, and trying to pull her out and make her stop. But they scrapped that because apparently they wanted WandaVision to be self-contained. I mean self.
Yeah. To be in a bubble,
Quite literally a bubble.
self-sufficient.
Excuse me. To complete itself. They wanted Wanda to have that agency. So yeah, it's already been established quite.
No, but no, I'm saying for the movie. For the movie.
For the movie, we might
Yeah.
actually see
In
throwbacks.
Multiverse of Madness, she's probably it probably starts off with her already causing all of these problems, and Doctor Strange having to help her pull her out from whatever problem she caused on her own.
Yes. No, definitely. I think and that's quite possibly what's gonna happen. It'll still be a question of whether she's the real big bad or something.
Yeah.
Something.
She's
else.
probably not gonna be the real big bad.
And then obviously we know already how What If would fit into all of this. They
Yep.
exist in the multiverse. We'll be seeing those, and maybe we'll be talking about them. That'll be great. Expectations, Joe. Sorry. Expectations. I guess we'll just go down the list. Joel, you can go there.
No, well, mine are actually more really about Kang. I do see Paul had been asking this. I think that it's in one of his notes whether or not Kang is going to be the next big bad, and I do think that he's going to be the next big bad.
Phase 4. Yep.
Yeah, he's going to be Thanos of Phase 4. Yeah. So
Do we
yeah,
expect
I
him
think
to span phases like Thanos did?
I hope so. I hope so.
You can't just.
It's
be
not-
confined
I'm
to
not
one.
sure.
It's because it's not practical for Thanos to span phases just because of how they make the
Thanos or Kang?
actor. No, the actor into Thanos. It's just it's hard because of all these combination of practical and special effects that they do. But Kang is just a guy.
Not necessarily. I mean, if they're gonna make him comic accurate,
Okay,
he's gonna have to have blue skin.
right. The Conqueror version.
Yeah. So I do see him having spot appearances in What If. I'm now wondering which Nathaniel Richards we're gonna get in Quantumania. Although it has been said that it's going to be Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Or
That's what I read
but
also.
is it gonna be just Kang the Conqueror? Because if it's Quantum Mania, which Kang is it? Is this the Kang? Because the Chronopolis is there, so
Yep.
Is that going to be the Kang who lives in the Chronopolis? Is there
Yeah.
going to be no other Kang? That
think
is a possibility. That is a possibility, but there are also a lot of other possibilities because of the whole multiverse thing that Loki opened up. So now I'm gonna go into my third expectation, and I will call this my glorious expectation. I think that Kang is going to team up with a fan favorite MCU baddie.
Oh, yes.
He hasn't shown up yet, but
Nope.
he's been around.
Hinted. Everywhere.
Yeah, I think that the Kang version of Nathaniel Richards is going to team up with none other than the big red Mephisto
Yes.
himself,
Yes.
and they are going to try and conquer the multiverse.
Yes.
Right? It's not going to be a partnership where they're in the same level. So what's going to happen is that the Kang Mephisto partnership will be similar to the Thanos Mephisto partnership in the Infinity Wars and Infinity Gauntlet in the comic books.
Okay.
For non-comic book readers, the Infinity Wars and Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Saga, Mephisto was actually sort of an underling to Thanos in that comic book series. Now I foresee that this is going to happen in the future. I expect that this is going to happen in the future, and Kang is going to take on the role of Thanos. Why do I say this? Because we have a character whom Kang can pine for, just the same way that Thanos pined for the personification of death, Lady Death. But for Kang, that person, which actually also happened in the comics, he was trying to gain the affections of Ravonna Renslayer. So we're going to see that happen. So Kang is going to try and gain the affections of Ravonna Renslayer, who has now become a badass as Terminatrix in her quest for free will.
She now has to have a suit of armor of some sort.
Yeah, a suit of armor. Right? So now Kang will want her to be his paramour, and the way for him to prove his worth, conquer the multiverse with Mephisto at his side.
There you go.
As his confidant and
Lieutenant.
the person.
So
His
lock that
lieutenant.
in. You heard it here first.
Okay.
One of the
Yeah.
dumbest reaches.
One of the biggest reaches.
Hey.
But you're gonna thank me when it actually happens.
Yeah.
I'm telling
We'll
you.
go back this episode and remind everybody that it was Joel all along.
Joel. It was Joel
Yeah.
all along.
Yeah,
Paul,
Feige and I, Kevin, you know,
Kevin.
Big Kev, Big Dog Kev.
Kevin.
Yeah.
You know a Kevin. You know a Kevin.
yeah, we know Kevin.
Yeah, we know a Kevin.
Yeah.
Paul, for expectations.
Okay, so if they do end up coming out with the season 2 earlier than
For somebody who doesn't want a season 2, you keep coming back to it.
No, so it's because you ask for expectations. So what I wrote down was expectations for the next season.
Right. Okay.
Right. So if they do end up doing a season 2, I hope that the pacing is the same. I hope that it doesn't slow down, because sometimes you have a fast first season, they'd probably slow it down for the second season, just to have more room to build up characters, and then at the end then push everything out at the end. I hope that the second season would be, the pacing would be the same as the first season. And I know that this is not gonna happen because Loki is a series streaming on Disney Plus, but I hope it doesn't fall to the wayside when Phase 4 movies come out, like what happened to the Agents of Shield. Although they actually did not promise anything
Yes.
to the audience regarding Agents of Shield being part of the canon, so that's okay. But I hope that since and I think it won't, because all the Disney Plus stories are intertwined to the MCU.
Yeah. Yes. They
Right,
prepared
so-
it as such.
yeah,
The main problem with Agents of Shield was that it wasn't. It tried to link up with MCU rather than it being already written as part of the MCU.
Right.
So we saw that with the Hydra reveal as part
Yeah.
of Civil War, which was awesome actually.
Yeah.
But after that, it I guess the timing, because it was a very long-lived season for what it was.
Yeah.
TV series.
Series.
But they couldn't find a way to link it up anymore.
There was a fan base because of all the seasons there was a fan base, so that they picked up fans. So, but yeah, and I know it's not gonna happen, but I still want the Disney Plus shows to have significance in the major MCU Phase 4. But it's hard to say that it will, because I think what's gonna happen is moviegoers don't usually, or you can say that a majority of the people who will watch the movies don't necessarily want to watch the TV shows. So there's no point in actually tying back in to the series, or tying back into the series are made for the hardcore people who are hardcore fans. So they'd probably have a tie-in that's significant to hardcore fans, but not to the general public who just want to watch the movies.
My theory
If that
with
makes
that
sense.
one is I think it was perfect timing because of what's, how the pandemic has made it a little less desirable to watch things in the cinema. I think
Right.
the idea was that instead of pushing out 2-3 MCU movies every year, they're going to be pushing out instead 5, and half of them will be in the form of the TV series. So effectively, the MCU TV series, the TV series that we're streaming in Disney Plus, are MCU movies that were just, experimental,
5-hour movies.
Right.
cut up, or written slightly different way, presented in slightly different way. But I
Right.
think Feige's aim was to deliver that as a form of MCU movies as well.
Okay.
So definitely.
So
I
had the
think they'll
pandemic not
lose it.
happened, do you think that they would have come out as movies?
No.
WandaVision.
I think
Not
I think his goal was to create the same thing as what we already have right now. I think just that the pandemic helped in making it a little bit more picked up sooner, I guess.
because people got stuck at home.
Exactly.
They got Disney Plus so to pass the time.
The Mandalorian came up, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, awesome! Oh,
Yeah.
look, there's MCU TV series as well."
I want to expectations. I want, actually, and this is more of a question. I want to see how, and I don't know if it will, but I want to see how this connects to the Eternals.
Yes.
Ooh, it seems as if Eternals is actually a very standalone.
It does have that the whole trailer has that vibe, right? That they're
it seems
self-contained.
like so separate.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do find a way to connect it. Arnold, do you have an idea
I
how
think
it connects?
my theory with that one is more because we are going back to the past of humanity, to way before. It's quite possible that they can explain it away, that saying, "Hey, this occurred during the sacred timeline, before the
Oh,
branching
you're right.
out." You can safely use that.
Yeah.
That's relatively acceptable. I mean, everything doesn't have to be about variants or multiverses. It's just that it's there now, right? So they don't have to. Remember, the story of the Eternals is more focused on how humanity was advanced because of their it's the ancient alien theory of how humanity advanced because we were helped. And I guess it's also to establish Black Knight in the MCU. I have no idea what, but it's awesome too because of the cast.
But Black Knight does have a role to play in a Kang story.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's
exactly.
part of the Avengers.
He'll be part of the
gonna
new
be-
Avengers.
Yeah, the new Avengers.
So there's it all links. We already said we have all links.
Okay, so for my last expectation, and this is going back to the Loki series, since we've seen in the season ender the fall of Sylvie, I'm just gonna name it that.
Yep.
Because that's what happened. For me, I think she gave in to her most base emotion, which is anger, because she couldn't get rid of that. She couldn't forgive or forget. She just gave in, and because of what she did, she has to face the facts of the aftermath of it all, which is of all these other bad things that possibly will happen. Because up to that point, she didn't believe that she thought that Nathaniel Richards was lying.
Mhm.
That's the whole premise of why she
Or she
had
didn't care.
she didn't
was
care,
so
yeah,
blinded
or she
by
didn't care
something.
by anger, by wrath, that for her it was the only acceptable retribution.
Yep.
So that would be her fall, and I hope that the next season is her trying to get back up.
Oh,
Because
her
because
redemption arc
her
actually
redemption
happens
arc,
next season.
like
Mhm.
a big redemption arc for the character, because I don't want to see the character wasted and set on the wayside like that.
Gotcha.
So because it's a good character, I want to see her continue to move on, and I hope that it doesn't stop there. And then because one other thing that could happen is that stops and that storyline is just put on the wayside,
Yep.
and the next season would be just about Loki, TVA, and trying to, you know, fix whatever's happening to the timeline.
Yep.
It could be that, right? But then there would be, I mean, it could be a
there'd
procedure.
be something lacking
Yeah, yeah,
if they don't pursue Sylvie storyline.
yeah.
That's
So
it.
I hope it's gonna be a redemption arc for her, because I think it's a good story to pick up as well, because it teaches one. I mean, if we're gonna be focusing on people, on the aspect of Loki looking inward, you know, trying to accept who you are, I think it's a perfect lesson as well to show Sylvie trying to get over what happened, because we can't do any she can't do anything anymore because she's done it. It's all in the past. It's time for her to move forward and just, you know, make mat make matters better for everyone, or just
Okay.
basically, yeah, you're correct, a redemption arc for her.
Okay. So, we definitely would love to see more of the Sylvie character showing up again. So we shall see if that one's the case.
Yeah, I'm only tired of Loki, like Tom Hiddleston's Loki. Everyone else can come back and do a season 2.
Like spin-offs.
Yeah.
So even if like
Loki
Hiddleston comes back as President Loki with a hook for a hand, you don't want to.
That's still Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, no, Tom Hiddleston. I don't want Tom Hiddleston
Doesn't
in the
wanna see
series.
Tom Hiddleston's
Yeah.
mug.
Okay,
I-
so it's
I
still
want
Loki, but it's all about
Loki,
Sylvie and Kid Loki.
all about
and,
Sylvie. Yeah. It's Loki because
and
they're all Lokis,
Gator
right?
Loki.
Yeah, exactly.
We need more
And
Gator
Mobius.
Loki.
And Mobius.
Mobius.
And Mobius.
I expect.
What would happen to Hiddleston Loki?
He'll be in the library
He just
reading,
doesn't care. As long as
researching.
he's not in the show.
He'll be in the library
Alright,
reading,
alright.
researching,
Let
fighting
us-
No,
fighting
but-
the
yeah, but-
librarian.
But Mobius did call him an analyst. They're basically
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
No, they're basically the same.
He'll-
They're in the same position.
He'll be having lunch with Corey.
No, Corey is a desk clerk.
All right,
Yeah.
let's rein this back in, boys. Let's rein this back in. All right, so I guess that was the
No,
end
yeah, I don't
of
want to rein it in.
our expectations. I know we could just keep on talking forever and more, but we do have an episode to tie up, and we can't keep our audiences, listening forever.
They're here for the banter.
That's true. That's true. But the banter should last an hour at most. That wraps up our special series retrospective discussion of Loki. What a ride it has been, ladies and jelly babies. The past 6 weeks was very interesting. We started this off as a random message and says, "Hey, do you want to react on the Loki TV series?" And here we are finishing it off every week doing reactions. It was fun.
That's not true. We started with WandaVision.
We did not start with one.
No, we started with Gods of Egypt.
For so before we get off topic again, thank you again to Paul and Joel for joining me to
Look
share
for the
our
lost
thoughts,
episode on Gods of Egypt.
impressions and theories throughout this series. Like classic Loki, have we concluded our glorious purpose?
Of course not.
Apparently not.
No.
Like the TVA, Glorious Reacts will persist despite the multiverse.
Because
There
we're
are
in
a lot of
a...
interesting shows that caught our attention, and we would love to keep sharing our thoughts and theories about them with you guys, our audience.
Yeah, definitely.
Since there seems to be a demand for an there seems to be a demand for an audio format of Glorious Reacts. We also plan to re-release the whole of Loki season 1 episodes as well as any future episode we create as a podcast. So expect to start hearing us on your favorite podcasting platforms
On all
soon.
platforms.
All right, so that's gonna be something that we'll be working on as well. We'll be taking
Yeah.
a short break until I think we're not yet certain which shows we'll be going to start next. We will just so suddenly pop up out of nowhere. Before I end the outro and this our maiden series, I would like to raise a toast. Cheers to the boys.
Oh my... I don't have
You were not
anything.
prepared.
We were not
all right. I'm
prepared.
not exactly
I
prepared.
am.
That's just colored water.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for to the boys for staying up, preparing. This has been an interesting journey, and we hope to keep doing it.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you, dear audience, for entrusting us with your time and attention. Till next time, and there will be a next time. Bye.